at that point, you're not there to play it safe. Like if you're not taking risks, you're not competing.
It's empowering, you know. I mean, anybody who's done a CrossFit workout, you finish your CrossFit workout, and you're like, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
Like a hunger for competition and like that super intense structure, routine. I still had that desire.
Listen to the way people feel and the motivations for doing the things that they did. It was like they were describing me to a T.
I'm not trying to solve everything for you, but I know that sometimes you just need somebody to listen.
Learned the most is how to fill my cup by filling others.
Welcome to the Hungry Dog Barbell Podcast. Join me as I talk with passionate people about their life's failures and successes, and most importantly, what keeps them hungry for more. You just did Metcon Rush. So like we were talking about, right? Like you were like conflicted on if you should do this one, right? This is your first elite competition. After the open quarterfinals and all that, like why were you conflicted before? Like break it down for the people.
Well, so I did do the elite comp, the Meadowlands, but it wasn't like super big.
That was the first year, yeah.
Yeah, that was in November. It was a 1-day comp, three events, I believe. This one was a 2-day comp. I've never done a 2-day comp before. And there were...
How many workouts was it? Do you remember?
Technically 6, but two of them were like paired together. So essentially 6 scores. So first 2-day comp, a lot of big names there, semifinal and games athletes. So that was like, I was like, I don't know if I should, because I haven't been training for it. Like I didn't train for it.
Right. Just been working out before that.
Yeah, I was off for a couple weeks. I got my septum repaired. I thought it was full. So I had actually made a comment on one of their posts that they made, I guess, about the workouts. And I was like, oh, like, I love this. Like, I'll have to sign up next year. And they actually messaged me and they're like, oh, we still have like 4 elite spots left. And I was like,
let's go.
And so I was like, like I wasn't really training for it. And like, I'm still kind of getting back into it, but like, why not? Right. So that's why I was hesitant, but I was like, you know what, like go for the experience, meet new people, you know, kind of see what it's like with some of those like higher level athletes, just to see like the difference. And that was crazy. Cause you're like, I'm like pretty good, right? Like you like to think that, you know, it was definitely a good experience, but definitely was like, wow, there's some really good athletes. There's a lot I still need to be, not even a lot that I need to be better at. I just need to be fitter. Like that's really all it is being fitter and being faster and being able to do the same thing faster than I'm able to now.
Right. I mean, you got to see the next level to know what to train towards, right?
Yeah,
to know
absolutely.
what you're shooting at, like in general, like.
Yeah, which was cool. So that was nice. And I think, you know, for me, it just comes down to adding more volume to my training, doing more like double sessions than just twice a week, probably. So, and that's a lot. Like that's a lot to, you know, prepare yourself to do mentally.
And right. Not just physically, like that's like more commitment, right? Like, okay, yes. I'm doubling down, tripling down. I'm putting all my eggs into one basket.
And I work, right? So it's like, okay, I got to go at 6 a.m. and I got to do this. And then I got to shower and go about my day and go to work. And then I kind of come back after work. And so there's not a lot of time for other things, which I mean, it's not like I do a lot anyway, but.
You hear that, Jenny Butler? She's coming in at 6 a.m. too. Get ready for the double downs.
Yeah, she'll love me. She'll love me for that. I was like, during like open training and stuff, was going.
I remember you said that,
What, Tuesdays and Fridays for mornings. So I would go in at like 6:30 or so and do that. But I was doing that from, I think, September until the open.
Oh,
so
a long time.
A pretty early start to open training.
What do you think separates like elite from just like your regular RX? Like if you see that on a comp poster, like what do you think they're trying to like convey? What do you think you're going to be challenged by when you get to that comp?
Well, I definitely think, I mean, the difference I think really comes down to, um, the athlete's capacity. Um, Especially if you're looking at something that's, elite was a 2-day comp, the RX was only a 1-day comp.
Uh,
Again, I've never experienced that. So like knowing how to manage like your soreness and things like that. Um, but and they just train a lot more. And so when you train more, you have more output. So I think that's one thing that really differentiates, other than like throwing in like the handstand walks for elite had the pirouette. Like you're making the skills a little bit harder, but
yeah,
that's not to say RX can't do it. But for somebody who's maybe in between, if you can kind of do pirouettes, but you're going to struggle with it, maybe you back down to the RX, or if your capacity is not there to be able to do 2 days. I think that's really all it comes down to, is just building your aerobic capacity and just having a higher capacity to do things, I think is really
yeah,
what like comes down to it. Aside from obviously some of the like specific skills that are like ring muscle ups and the pirouettes and, pullovers and bar muscle ups. And, maybe you do have bar muscle ups, but maybe you don't have the capacity to do 10 unbroken for 4 rounds. And that's like the
right.
difference.
Can you
So,
do it
and
with
that
a
just
high
comes
heart
with,
rate, like straight up,
yeah, yeah. So I think that comes with, training capacity of your skills. Like I used to only be able to do sets of 3 ring muscle ups, and now I can do 10 sets of 5. And that'll just slowly increase over time the more you work on it.
Right.
And that makes me more confident in workouts with ring muscle ups, where I'm like, I could do a comp now that has ring muscle ups in it, because I've worked on that and I've worked on the capacity of my strength in it. And I have more confident in it now.
Right. Now it's in the bag. Now it's in the toolbox there. Speaking of, dude, how's your hands?
They're all better.
Hey, wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
Oh man, lucky you. Was that the
You
worst
know,
time you ever ripped your hands?
I think so. Like, I think that was even worse
Oof.
than like gymnastics.
Oh, oh yeah. I
Yeah,
forgot you had the gymnastics background. Did you rip a lot back then?
I did, but I ripped more like up here under my fingers, and this was like
Yeah.
on my palm. So
Oof.
that did not feel good. In gymnastics, I would rip on my wrist too, from like the grips being here. But
Oh,
I think that might have been my biggest rip to date, honestly.
it's terrible, man. I
It's so
remember a
bad.
few years. It sucks when you go through that. Like you can't use your hands really,
No,
Like a
I
few
put
years
latex
back.
gloves on to shower.
Oh my God. Did it get stuck to your hand a little bit? Did you have a band-aid on top of that and
No,
then the latex glove?
I put Vaseline, gauze, taped it, put a latex glove on, and taped the glove to my arm
Oh
so that
man.
water didn't
I
get in.
like
Can prepare you for the pain that you feel when you have to put water on it. Even just water, like
yeah,
not even soap, water.
I
Oh my
know.
God. I was like stomping the ground and like punching the sink. It hurt so bad.
It sucks. There's like I forget what the name of the stuff is, but there's like stuff that you could like put on your hands to make it like heal faster, like a CrossFit brand. And
Yeah.
someone gave me a bottle, and I had no idea what it felt like. I like thought in my mind maybe it's going to be like peroxide or some kind of clean in, and it'll sting a little bit. I put
Yeah.
this small little drop on my hand, and I swear to you, Selena, I dropped down to my knees and like raised my hand up in the air and like had tears damn near coming out. It hurt so bad. Like,
It hurts
and it was
so
just
bad.
small drop. It sucks. It's the worst thing. Like
Yeah.
it's taught me like I won't push now. Like before, I would push if my hands were like feeling a little sensitive, and I would just let it rip if it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Now I'll stop. I'll do something else. Like it's just not worth it.
Mhm.
No matter what the workout
And
is.
I felt it that day too. I like felt my skin like pull up at first, like just pull away, but it
Yeah,
hadn't
that
ripped
feeling.
yet. And I was like, oh no. And then I did another set and I was like, yep, that just ripped.
Yeah.
And then I
See,
was
that's
bleeding.
I'm not there no more. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I want to stop. Like when I got that feeling, we're like, fuck it. Like I had good sets
Well,
already.
I wanted to do more than 7 sets of 5 because that's what I did last time. And I was like,
Push
wanted
the
to get
volume.
10. I wanted to get 10 sets of 5. So then after I ripped, I ran and grabbed my grips and finished 3 more sets of 5.
Damn. Yeah. See, no, that's why you're gonna go on to elite. That's what you got to do right there. Get the volume
That's the
PR. I
difference.
would have
That's
stopped.
summed up right there. That's the difference.
That's it right there. F that. I
Yep.
had just walked out too. Like a second before that. So when I went on Instagram and
I
saw it, I was like,
know.
damn,
Yeah, you
bloodbath.
recorded my like second set, I think. And
That's nuts.
then and then it happened on like the 7th one or something.
That's
6 or
terrible,
7.
man.
Yeah.
That
And I was
sucks.
like,
But all right, here we go. Let's talk about these Metcon Rush workouts. Tell me, what was your favorite workout to do the whole weekend?
So obviously, I love gymnastics. So I did really like the ring muscle up, handstand walk, pirouette, and row. But by the end of the weekend, I kind of think I liked the toes to bar, double under, and clean and jerk
Oh, that's
workout
hurtful.
because one, it was fast. There wasn't like a lot of time there to suffer. You just like kind of did it and you were done. But I think I liked it the most because for me, it was like my biggest win of the weekend.
Hmm.
Because the clean and jerks were at 185 for the girls,
Yeah.
and there were 6 of them, and I power cleaned and power jerked all of them. And it's just not
Oh
something I
yeah.
would have been able to do like even a year, maybe even like 7 months. Well, maybe, but like, a year ago, would not have even been able to do a workout like that. I would have had to like at least squat clean them and probably would have failed some.
Right.
Um, Especially on the second day, and it was the very last workout.
Wow.
So I think for me, that was a special moment for me. It was like, wow. Like I felt like I belonged there. I felt like all of my hard work is finally showing, and it was just like really cool for me. And I finished the workout in the time cap. So it was all around just like very cool workout for me.
A big hell
Um,
yeah to finish off on. That's dope.
yeah. I was like, oh my God, like I just did a workout with 185 clean and jerks and I finished it. Didn't struggle, didn't miss one. Like it was just very cool. So
That's dope. I know it was like a short time span before between like when you signed up and when you actually went out. Did you practice that one at all?
not straight through. I practiced a couple variations of it. Um Trying to think, the one that I did was like a max set of toes to bar,
Hmm.
50 double unders, and then max clean and jerks in 30 seconds. So um and I did it for like 4 rounds. So
Uh,
where this one it was like you do all the toes to bar, you do all the double unders, you do all the clean and
and then
jerks. So the
yeah,
clean and jerks like felt hard when I was doing that because I was like going back to the toes to bar and I was going back to the double unders and then I was doing more clean and jerks
more
and I was
fitness.
like
Yeah,
more out of breath because it was
yeah.
like a constant thing. And then I think the other one I did an EMOM style. So I did, a minute of toes to bar, a minute of double unders, and then a minute of clean and jerks. So
Hmm.
still not the same because it was still not like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, not on
Like
the competition floor.
yeah.
Did you
So
do that? What was there? I think it was this year, the quarterfinals workout. It might have been for age groups too, that had like the clean and jerk ladder in it. Did you do that one?
yes, I did.
That was lighter than this
Um,
though.
yeah, it was like 10, 10, 10, and then like max reps.
Yeah, at the last
At,
barbell.
at like, and you had like a minute rest in between or something like that.
Yeah. How did that one go for you? Like how did your clean and jerks feel then? That was like what, March or whatever versus now.
Um, yeah, I mean that workout went well for me. Not comparatively speaking when I saw other girls' scores and I was like, I thought I did good. I think I did 16 clean and jerks
And the
at
last bar.
165. Yeah. Um, and in, in a decently short time frame, because I think the total cap was fairly short.
Yeah, it's like 12 overall, something like that.
Something like
Real
that, 10 or
fast.
12. Yeah, so like that, and they felt good. But I would say, with all of the front squatting and everything that I've been doing, the 185 probably felt not much heavier than the 165, which is good because that means 185 is feeling light.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, and I caught them all pretty high, the 185s. So that was good too. It wasn't like a barely power struggle stand up kind of thing.
Oh, I love when
So
that
yeah, I
happens.
mean, comparing the two, I would say they almost felt pretty similar. So that's always a good thing when it's heavier, it feels lighter.
Let's go. So this wasn't in the thing. It's probably was your favorite workout, but let's talk about the snatch one, man. You had the max snatch too. What was that event? How did that go? Tell us
Yeah,
everything.
so it was 5 minute like EMOM style to establish 1 rep max. And you could take a minute off. You could, you could only take one turn if you really wanted to. And then a 2 minute rest and then into Isabel.
Was
Um,
it one attempt per minute? Is that what it was?
yes. Yes.
Ooh.
So unfortunately, something like, I don't know if the times got changed or what happened, but I had like barely 10 minutes to warm up.
Oh.
So I was like, oh my God. And I wanted to open at 155. And because I didn't have enough time to warm up, I ended up opening at 145. So I was like one weight back that I wanted to be, which is unfortunate because they actually felt really good even with not a lot of warm up. And I think I could have hit 170 for a PR. But my last attempt ended up being the 165. So I was like,
If you
but I
missed
mean,
one in one of the attempts, could you do it again in that minute, or was it just one
I
attempt at
don't think
all?
so. Not from my
Oh,
understanding. Yeah. It
damn.
was like, yeah. Um, so, I hit 165, which is still only like 3 pounds off of my best. So it wasn't a bad day. But I wish, and that's my fault. Like I wasn't paying attention. So I wish I would have had more time to warm up. So that I could have, felt better and started higher
Stuck
and
to the plan
had
and shit.
that
Yeah.
170 attempt. I know, I'm very upset.
Oh man, because the snatch PR on competition day, there's nothing better
I
than that.
know. I know. And then because I didn't warm up and then going into like heavy snatching immediately, then as soon as we started Isabel, like the whole my like hamstrings and like butt
Mm.
just like fired up. And like my Isabel was like horrible. I was like, oh
Oh,
my God.
it sucks.
Like was
It's
burning like immediately. I'm like, okay, well, that's how this is gonna go. So
because
yeah, I know. And like the day that I practiced just 3 max unbroken sets of snatches with like a minute rest in between or whatever it was. The first set I did 15 and I was like, okay, like that felt pretty good. Like I could probably do 20. No, I could barely get 15 at the comp because I was like, oh my God, everything is burning. I like feel like I can't even lift this. And then I started doing singles and then I was at like 20, like 5 or 7, or I don't know. I was like almost done and I failed one.
oh my
Like I went to do the
that's the
power
worst.
and like everything was just so like tired that it like stopped in front of my head. And I like kind of shook a little bit and then it fell in front of me and I was like, what just happened?
Yo, failing a snatch is one of the most costly things ever.
And at 95 pounds, I was like, okay.
Yeah, like oh,
Like
I
my
got to get
body was
myself
just like
together.
shot at that point. So
That
that was,
sucks.
yeah, that was not the highlight of my weekend.
Oh man. So what was the worst workout for you? Was it that or was there something else that happened?
Let's see. The first workout was the pirouettes. Second was the snatch. Third was the snatch. The fourth was what was the fourth workout? Was the fourth workout the farmer's carry? Or was that the fifth workout?
I don't
Trying
know.
to think.
Was it there? Yo,
Um,
side note, CrossFit Westchester does more carries than any gym I've ever seen. Me and Julia
oh,
talk about that
really?
all the time. Overhead carries, farmers carries, every kind of carry.
Let me see. Let me look really quick. Let's see. Because I know there was one. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, that one. The unbroken complex thrusters and then the max burpee box jump overs.
I believe it. I remember the day you practiced that.
Yeah, and it was really hot that day and I was falling apart. So that was definitely maybe I don't think it was my worst finish, but I was not having a good time. I I did the first round of the complex unbroken and the first set of thrusters unbroken. And then I think I got like 14 burpees and I was like, okay. But then I was like, oh, this is really hard. And go to do the gymnastics. I'm like, I'm going to break it up. So I did the pull-ups and chest to bar unbroken, came down, jumped up, did my bar muscle ups, came down. And then I remember, and then I think I did like 8 and 7 for the thrusters. But then I got like 6 burpees, I think. Like it wasn't good. And then when we were like resetting, I noticed that my grip had like a rip, like at the bottom, like this big. And I'm like, my grips have literally been fine for like 4 years. Like this is going to rip. Like I knew it was going to. So I jump up for the third round and I do 7 pull-ups and I wanted to do 7 chest to bar too, but at like on the 7th pull-up ripped. Like my grip ripped in half. So I had to come down. The grip flies off. Like it's a mess. I have to pull my grips off, chalk my hands, do 7 chest to bar, come down, chalk my hands, and I have to do 7 bar muscle ups without grips. I gripped the bar with my thumbs, which I never do. Like it was just so like messed up. And then at that point, I was just like, okay, I'm like ready to be done. And I don't remember what I did for the thrusters, maybe 10 and 5. But like I took a long time like in between the 10 and the 5. And then I think I got like 4 burpees at the end. Like it was not good.
God.
And then there's like there were a couple of girls who tied for first, got 51 burpees.
In total?
Yes.
It was like, was that 4 rounds?
3.
Oh, what? That means they had to have got 25 plus on one of those rounds.
That's what I'm saying. And I was like happy with my 14.
Yeah. Damn. That's nuts.
So and the one girl, me and another girl ended up talking to one of the girls who got 51 and we're like, oh, like, the one girl was like, how'd it go? And she was like, I did all right, I guess. And she was like, I got 51. We're like, you did great.
Different.
Trust me.
I'm here to tell you, you crushed it.
Oh my God.
Absolutely crushed it.
So that's something where it's like, that's just like capacity, right? Like you just have a higher capacity and can just move.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I got to work on my capacity, I guess. Burpee capacity.
It really hurt,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, being able to do, the thrusters quickly, which is like, I like thruster is one of my least favorite movements. So I knew that was going to be a not great workout for me, even mentally. So we just got through it. So yeah, I was honestly kind of glad my grip ripped because I'm like, okay, so there's an excuse there, right? Like,
I'm not gonna
had to come down,
kill
had to
myself
take off my grips, had to chalk my hand,
and have my hand fall off. Yeah, I feel that.
But then the toes to bar workout was last, so I had a ripped grip.
Ooh.
And thankfully there was one girl there who I competed with at the Meadowlands, and then there was another girl who I was like talking to throughout, and she ended up her like stuff was set up next to mine in like the athlete area. And she's like, I have an extra pair, like you can use mine tomorrow, like you can use the extra ones tomorrow. I like my grips small so that it like gives me an extra like hook almost on the bar.
Yeah.
And these were like this much longer than my hand.
Like full dowel.
Yeah, so when I was doing my toes to bar, like while it protected my hands, I didn't feel like I had a good like hold on the bar. So that definitely made my toes to bar a little bit harder. But you know, what are you gonna do?
That sucks. Let's see. I'm just checking to see if we got any update. No update from the games yet.
Oh boy.
Guess it's going forward. But dude, that's nuts, man. Like to have that happen mid competition and have to deal with that and then do another workout where you need your grips.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so you always go thumbs over, you don't have to wrap your thumbs?
Mm-mm.
What do you
No,
think that's the way it's supposed to
because
be?
yeah, so I think the grips that I use are like wide enough that it makes it almost hard to use my thumb. But I've never used my thumbs. I'll use them for strict pull-ups, like for strength
Right.
sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. But in gymnastics, we did not swing bars with our thumbs because if you were to go backwards around the bar with your thumb, like you break your thumb
Break
off.
your thumb. That's
Yeah.
true.
So as a gymnast, we always did like this. And then when we did like a cast a handstand, like you would like put them over to like support you, but then as soon as you start swinging, you like move them back over.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very normal and my grip strength is good that I don't, not that I don't need my thumbs, like it probably would help me in some cases, but like I'm just used to it at this point. So
I do my chest to bar, my toe to bar. Actually, I've stopped my toe to bar now too. The I do the two pull-ups with my thumbs wrapped, and then I can't do a bar muscle up with my thumb wrapped. Like I have to go over.
yeah.
I
Well,
can't do toes bar anymore like that.
I feel like too with my thumb, it makes it harder for me to get my hand like on top of the bar like this.
Yeah.
And then instead of holding on like this, you want your wrist to be pointed up. And I feel like with your thumb around with smaller hands too, like that makes it
You're in
harder. So
you're in this position. Yeah. Definitely
yeah.
sucks. Man. So you were just talking about like meeting a bunch of people there too. Like how was that? Like was it an inviting elite level of competitors?
Yes, definitely. Well, the one girl I already knew, so it was nice. I got to like see her and talk with her. Um, and then the other girl who let me use her grips, she was set up right next to me. Super nice. Like we were both, we were like all kind of in the same boat. We're like, oh, like we didn't really train for this. Like we're just gonna try and have fun. And that was like supporting because I was like, for me, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going to look like an idiot because I didn't train for it and people are going to think I'm not fit and, whatever. And she's like, oh girl, like, I didn't train either. Like, I'm just here. And I'm like, okay, me too. Like, it made me feel better. Super nice though. And, unfortunately, when you meet people at comps like this, they don't always live in your area.
Yeah.
Because I would like love to like get to see her and like, work out, like get together on like a Saturday, but she lives in Cincinnati. So it's a little far.
Nice little day trip there for a workout.
Yeah. And then I did meet another girl. She is in like the Easton area. So she's only like an hour away. So we talked about, maybe getting together on like a Saturday sometime and, working out. So that would be anybody there, whether you're doing gymnastics or you're competing in like the elite, even if you're competing in the scaled, right? Like we're all doing the same thing. We're all doing hard things. And so I think that that's something that the CrossFit community is really good about, is acknowledging that we're all doing something hard. So whether you come in last or you come in first, like you did a great job. Like you're out there and you're doing it. And like, that's awesome.
Unless you're Kara Markward out there, you're terrible.
Yeah, fuck you, Kara. No, actually, I will say she's like jumped in with me on some stuff, and she will die for me. Like she will kill herself to keep up with me. Like we did Murph together, and I was still like recovering. So, but we did it like Cindy style. And I'm like going, whatever. And like, she's kind of dying like a little bit. And I'm like, you don't have to keep up with me. And she was like, the fuck I do. Like, yes, I do. And she did. She literally like died to keep up with me. And then she like jumped into like one of my interval workouts, and it was like at least 5 rounds. But if you're holding the same pace, like keep going until you fail. And like the snatch weight went up and everything. And we finished the 5th round. We're both dying. Like it was hard. And I was like, well, I kept my same like snatches, so I'm going to do a 6th round. And she pretty much like, when we finished the 5th, was like, I'm done, whatever. And she saw I was like getting ready for my 6th. And she was like, okay, like, I guess I'm doing 6 too. So she did the 6th. And then I was like, like I need to do 7 because I did good in the 6th. I'm still dying. And I was like, are you done? And she's like, I'm not done if you're not done. And so like, I will say like, she is very good at pushing herself, and she does not give herself enough credit. I think like she's a lot better than she maybe even wants to be, but I think she has really great potential, but she says she hates competing. So, there's that, but I give her credit.
I don't know if we're ever going to get her to do a comp again, but yeah, Kara's hilarious, man. Like,
well, maybe
she
the
is
air
so
throwdown she'll do.
I think that's a huge maybe, like the biggest maybe you could possibly maybe. That's the maybe that it is for her.
Well, she asked me if I would want to do it with her, so maybe we'll jump in
my
there.
God, it's gonna be the craziest day then if that happens.
Yeah, but
Kara
I mean,
is the easiest person to talk to in a peer pressure. FOMO, like she's never like probably ever let FOMO just pass her by. I think she's always succumbed to it.
Definitely not. But back to your point about like, the Olympics and, gymnastics and CrossFit and everything, I think even in gymnastics, we were always happy when our teammates were doing well, when, and gymnastics, it's so weird because in college, it is very much a team sport. Like nobody really cares about the individual results in college. In club gymnastics, it is very much individual. It's you and it's about you. And, you as an individual can qualify to the states, regionals, nationals, whatever. As an elite, you're really just there for yourself. If you're trying to go to the Olympics, like it's for you, right? Like it's very individual. And then at the Olympics, they obviously have the team competition, which I feel like in the Olympics is bigger than it is in club gymnastics. But then they still do the individual all around, and they do the individual event finals and everything. So gymnastics is a little bit of both. And so in college, it was very much, we wanted everybody to do well because we wanted the team to do well and we wanted the team to win. Right. Where in club, it's kind of like, you're almost like hoping somebody falls so that like you win.
You can be next up.
It's very strange. And so I think, for me too, something that's been difficult with some things that I've dealt with in the past, just last year, is I think the majority of people understand that we're all doing hard things. We're all doing good. If you're competing at the elite level, like you're a good athlete. And for me, in my head, I'm like, if I don't get like top 5 or if I don't podium, like people aren't going to think I'm good at CrossFit, or they're not going to think that I'm fit. They're going to think X, Y, and Z, which maybe some people do. But I think the majority of people understand and will congratulate you no matter like where you finish. And like all 30 of the girls that were there are really good athletes. Like not everybody can podium. There's only 3 podium spots. And unfortunately, I have experienced that personally where it's like, oh, well, you basically did this, so like you're not good enough. Yeah. And it's like, okay. And so like that kind of stuck with me. And so like I think that weekend was really good to be around people who understand that no matter where you finish, you are doing a good job and you are fit and you're this and you're that and whatever. So that's been something that's been like difficult for me, that I'm like working on getting over, just based on personal experience. But,
Because like even in the sport of fitness, like the result at the end of the weekend or the end of the day or whatever the competition is, isn't like the full picture of your effort and the work that you've been doing. You know,
Yeah,
like
and like everybody's
it's
at
a
a different
representation, but
spot.
it's not the full picture, you know?
Yeah. Everybody's at a different spot in training. I personally had 3-4 weeks off from training right after, quarterfinals. And 2 weeks leading up to the comp was dealing with some back issues, was dealing with some back and nerve issues at the comp. So, and you don't know what people are going through. So, to say like, oh, like she, came in last in that workout, like she's not even good as she thinks she is, or she's not as good as she makes herself out to be on her Instagram. It's like, okay, well, Instagram is one, a highlight reel, right? Like for most people.
Right.
And two, like I just post like my lifts and I post my workouts, and I'm not saying anything about like I'm gonna go to the games, or I'm, this or that. Like I'm just like, this is what I did today. I'm
I was gonna say,
excited.
this is
Yay,
what I
go
did
me.
today.
Like hit a PR,
Literally.
woo. Like so
Right.
I think, social media obviously is like can very much be misinterpreted and misunderstood. And, I've even had like Kara has pointed out some things to me about before she knew me about how, maybe some of my stuff came off. And I'm like, I didn't see it that way because it's not how I intended it to be. But then you never know how people are going to take it. So,
Right.
social media is hard, but to like point fingers and be like, oh, she's not as good as her social media makes her out to be. It's like, what does that even fucking mean? Like,
Listen, that's the perfect segue to me saying this. I like to, when we do the pet peeve thing on the podcast, I want to give one. My pet peeve is people that judge other people for putting themselves out on social media because
yes,
they are too ashamed, afraid, or shy to put themselves out there. Like
yeah,
that
it's like
is
that's
you're
not
my
my
pet
problem.
peeve if you do that. If you have some anxiety that is causing you to be too shy to put yourself out there on social media, because if you're viewing someone, that means that you're on it and like you're like I
Right.
don't like you're in the social media world. Like don't hate on someone else that is not shy
I
like to do
know,
that.
especially when it comes to like girls, and it's like, ugh, like she posts in her bathing suit too much or all the time or whatever, and it's like, and so do you.
I'm not
Literally,
gonna
so do you. And you know what? I don't care because, girl, if you're comfortable to post in your bathing suit, do it. Like, good for you. And so will I. So why are we talking about it?
not gonna go too deep into this, but I just called out someone for that exact thing this
Ugh,
morning. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not
drives
gonna
me
go any
nuts.
further. But I just had a conversation with somebody about that 8 hours
I've had
ago.
multiple
So
conversations. Oh my God. And drives me
s-
crazy. I'm like, why do you, and
yeah.
like, why do you care what I'm posting? And like, why do you care what I'm posting if you're posting the same thing? So we're the same. So what are you saying?
Well, according to this person, they're not. Oh, so yeah, I just called somebody out for that. That's where that's a funny pet
Good for
peeve.
you.
Uh, uh, but yeah, I don't like it when I don't like double standards. I think that's just whack. I
No.
like I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, but don't hold me to a standard you don't hold yourself to.
Right.
That's just whack. I think
Yeah.
it's like that's whack. That's whack.
Yeah. It's
Um,
wild.
so anyway, pet peeves now. That's really funny. My one of my favorites was what did this person say? Automatic sinks. And I don't what's people's beef with automatic sinks? Do you know why someone would have beef with that?
Automatic what?
Sinks, like that you wash your hands at and shit. Like
Oh. Um,
in restaurants and
maybe
stuff.
maybe because if you move your hands like just slightly out of the way, it turns off.
Oh, that does piss
So
me
like it's
off.
not a consistent water flow.
that's past the P for me. I hate that. If they're your person out there, if you're talking about that, I hate that shit too. I hate when I go
Yeah.
to the bathroom and the sensor does not work like on
Not
time.
even those, but the ones that you like have to push down and then as they rise and then the water stops.
Like, what's the point?
Why is that even a thing?
Who came up with this? If person out
Yeah.
there, if you're talking about this, I thought that they were going like some like save the world route. I was like, okay, maybe this isn't something
Oh,
I'm educated on. But if you're talking about that, I am with you. I hate that shit.
that's what I would take it
Oh
as.
man. And I'm always like, I'm not coming back to this establishment because your hand dryer doesn't work. Two things. If I go into your bathroom, you don't either have paper towels that's stocked or your hand dryer doesn't work and your sink doesn't work either. Oh man, I'm livid. I'm walking out of there thinking about freaking leaving a you review. I hate that.
Oh, yeah. Public bathrooms are interesting. And they're all different. They're all different. And
I know
um
which ones are good ones. That's what I know.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, I would I would rather take paper towels over the hand dryers. Like just let me get them dry real quick and then I'm done. The
Yeah.
hand dryers, you gotta like do this and it just takes too long. I'd rather have paper towels.
I feel that. I'm sorry, world. I'm sorry, planet out there.
Yeah,
There's
sorry.
another one that said people that don't recycle, and I want to save the planet, but one of my favorite things online right now is when people say the conspiracy from big and then they insert like whatever kind of corporation. Like me and Aaliyah always say like big Oreos, like, oh, they're trying to take down like regular chocolate chip cookies or whatever.
Yeah.
So this comes from me watching a documentary about recycling and how it's pretty much all fake across the US
Yeah.
like apparently. So I'm sorry out there, everybody. If I
I know.
don't recycle as much anymore, it's just because I saw the number system and how it works. And I hate to break that to you right now. So
I know. I've seen that too. Like it sucks. You're like you think you're helping, but then where it actually goes and everything is like not actually helping. So
yeah, big recycling is big trash out there. They're faking us out. That's what's going
yeah.
on.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Getting faked out by
I feel like there
recycling.
was
And it
I feel like there was one. Hold on, let me see if I can find it really quick. I think I saved it.
but it's
Well, rep shavers is funny because nobody likes them.
oh
Oh,
yeah, that one came
backhanded
up.
compliments.
Oh yeah. I hate that.
Yeah, that's just
Backhanded
like
compliment. Like I was trying to
just
think of
don't
one, but I
compliment
couldn't think
me.
of
I
one.
don't know.
Yeah, like just tell me you don't like me. Like
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like just put it out in the open. Oh, Elias, unannounced power outages. And I was like, do they usually announce them? Like
I
what
don't think
world do you
so.
live in?
Yeah,
Two first world problems.
I know.
She was like, no, well, Pico cut the power off and they should have announced it to us that they were gonna do it. I was like, damn, I
Oh,
think you should have paid your bill then.
yeah.
Uh The first one of the day, unidentified stomach problems from Kara, and I love that everyone knew about her stomach issues.
Yes. I know. Poor girl hasn't been in the gym because of it.
Oof.
She came the other day and then she's like, I think I'm just gonna go home.
She told me, she was like, I walked right out. All right, again,
Yeah.
something else that we're not going to go into, but someone has returned to talk about married people cheating again,
Yes.
and they added on, and their friends that support them. This is not the place for this kind of peeve. File that on a different Instagram. We're
Yeah.
talking about the funnies here. You, whatever the person out there that has that issue, file that issue somewhere else. That's not for here.
Ugh.
Oh,
Has that been the same person every time?
it has been. Yes, this is their third week doing that, submitting
Oh
that
my
one. And I
God.
was like, I don't have anything else to say to you because I don't know
Ugh.
what you're talking about. This is the one for me. This is my last peeve. When the gas station pump says please see cashier,
Yes.
that
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 was
is
what I was gonna say.
that is the one.
Yep.
I
I'm like,
like
nope, don't need a
hit,
receipt.
bro, I'm gone. Like I don't care if I'm after E. Like I'm going to a different gas station.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't want to like see someone. I just why? How did you
I know.
how did the pump fail? Like you only had one job, pump. How did you
I know.
fail? I get so
Well,
pissed.
I hate too when it says it when you're done. like see cashier for receipt. I'm like, no, I'm not
No.
doing all that. I don't need a receipt. I'll see it on my
No.
bank statement.
Right. Yeah, no. I'm not driving cross country for freaking, I don't know, Joe Smo or something like that. I'm just trying to go to home and work. All right, bro. I'm
I
gonna need this
know.
freaking receipt.
Yeah,
I hate
that's
it.
the worst. I hate that. Ugh. I have I have a gas card that I use for work if I'm like traveling. Um and it was the very first time I was using it, and I went to, what is it, the Luke Oil that's right there by the gym,
Yeah.
by the Chipotle, and it kept saying like it wasn't working, and I have to put in like my odometer reader, and I have a driver's like PIN number, um, and it wasn't working. It wasn't working, and I'm like, I kept trying it, and I'm like, this is a gas card, like it's supposed to work. Like, what do you mean? And so I'm like calling work, and I'm like telling her, and she's like on the phone with the people. It was like a whole thing. And then she was like, maybe like try a different gas station and see. So I drove down to Wawa, worked. I'm like, okay, I can't go to Luke Oil, I guess.
I would have been pissed. Yeah.
I was so mad. I was like, I just want my gas.
There's this gas station out in Plymouth Meeting by where like I have two clients at that I go to like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And last week it was fucking up when I was trying to get gas and I was pissed. It's like one of the last gas stations before freaking hopping on 476. And then I stopped there Wednesday or something like that. Say Thursday. Yeah. So yesterday to get a freaking energy drink. And I see a line of cars at all the pumps and they're all having the same issue. And I was like, all right, I'm never coming here again.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
how could your readers be down? Too judgmental.
Yeah, I'll avoid certain gas stations if it is like too complicated to just get in and out of, even like off of whatever road
Oh,
it's on.
facts.
Not doing it. Not doing it.
Facts. 100% same. Like there's some Wawas that I hate just because of that reason.
Yes.
Like if it's bad
Or
to
it's
pull
like,
in.
oh, when you go to exit, like this exit out of the parking lot, you can't turn left. Okay.
Oh, you're not gonna control me with where I can turn. All right,
Yeah,
buddy.
I'll
Like,
turn left.
I won't be back here one and I'm turning left. I'll let you know that. Like, oh, man.
God.
Especially when
The
I was
worst.
younger and I learned that some of them like had like a certain time that you could turn at. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
well,
it's like no turning left from like 4 to 6 or whatever. You're like, okay.
like, all
Why?
right,
Because
bro.
it's busy?
I'm definitely telling the cop, oh, sorry, officer, I thought it was this time. I lost track of time. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway,
My
yeah.
bad.
I hate trash parking lots. That's my other peeve. People that judge people and double standards and frickin' stupid parking lots. That's my second one. That's a
Yeah.
lesser peeve, you know. So dude, what's next, right? Metcon Rush is in the bag there. Do you have any other comps you're gonna eye for the rest of the year, or are you just gonna push towards the open now?
Yeah, so I had talked about not doing any more comps for the rest of the year. I do usually do the Kennett Square comp. And the workouts do look fun, so I'm considering that. I did ask somebody if they wanted to be my partner. I'm just waiting to hear back if they're doing Fittest of the Coast. So may or may not be doing that. And then depending on Kara's stomach and her shins, we may do the comp at Westchester.
Let's go.
But other than that, I don't think so. I think I would like to moving forward, like figure out a couple comps per year that I like absolutely want to do. And like that will be that. That way I'm prepared for them. Like I definitely want to like keep Metcon Rush as one that I will do every year. And definitely Dewey, because Dewey is like one of the most fun ones. And then outside of that, I mean, I'd like to maybe get another individual one in there. Just because it's so different than doing a partner comp.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean, and I feel like individual can be tough to find. So I know I feel like they're coming around a little bit more, which is nice. So I'll have to just kind of like look and see what's going to be out there next year. And I will definitely plan to train for Metcon Rush next year.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I'll be a little more prepared, and I won't take 4 weeks off beforehand. So
Oh man, I can only imagine. Because I could go either way. It could make you feel refreshed, or it could be like, I feel super slow when I'm moving.
Yeah. Yeah. Very like out of breath on things that I shouldn't be out of breath on. And I'm like, God, like I feel so unfit. That's the worst.
That's the
That is the
worst.
worst feeling. And like trying to get like, because you're not in open shape year round, but trying to get into open shape is so annoying. Like it sucks. Like those first couple weeks, you're like, I am so unfit and this hurts and it's so hard. And then you go through 1 4 week cycle and you're like, I feel so much better.
Well, you got to train
And
to
then it
run
just
in a circle
progressively
for
gets
20
better.
minutes. That's what the
Yeah.
workouts all are, running in a circle for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like all of my like morning sessions are like endurance, like cardio, whatever. So either do like bike intervals or I'll do running or rowing intervals or I'll do like a bike and burpee. And like that's the stuff that nobody wants to do, but it helps
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. Mindless stuff in the morning. That's good.
Yeah. So I know and like I repeat some of the same stuff just to see like how much better I do. So like I did like a bike double under burpee thing. It was like burpee over bar.
Yeah.
And would do it 1 week and then do progressions of it. And then, like 5 weeks later or whatever, do it again and see like how much better I did. I've done a 21-minute EMOM of like
Yuck.
bike, row, and burpee over bar. And like minute 1 was so many calories on the bike, 2 was so many calories on the row, and then 3 was like 12 burpee over bar, I think.
Hmm.
And the very first time I did it, I could not hold the calories that I was like supposed to on the bike and just kept doing it every fucking week. And then it finally became like easy and I was able to like easily hold it. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is why I love fitness, because you can see the progress in that. And then you don't feel like you're dying.
Hell yeah. That's progress. That's fitness. Those
Yeah,
are the things that help you get fitter.
that was like one of my like I hated every time it was programmed for me. I'm like, not this thing again. Because you know
Those
how
are
it
the exact
feels.
things that
Yeah.
Fraser like said that he trained. That's what his lifeblood was. Develop all that fitness.
Yep. Trying to develop my fitness.
It's funny. I was just thinking about it too. Like while you're saying this, like it's about to be September, so it's about to be that time.
I know, it's crazy. I think last year we started kind of getting into like open training. Obviously not like the what's the word?
Full on thing, yeah.
Yeah, not the full on thing where you're doing like workouts that crush you, but starting to like build the endurance back up and everything. I think we started that in August and then we started the double sessions in September. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's about to be that time. 3 weeks. You
Getting
won't see me at
close.
6 a.m. because I'm covered one next week, but like I'm definitely not gonna do that every week, man. That's way too early for me.
So early.
I'm more like an 8 o'clock kind of guy. Like I'm gonna train at like 8 tomorrow, I think, trying to get there before it gets hot.
Yeah. I know. The heat is killer right now. Although it is
Sucks
raining.
that.
It is raining right now.
I know. Thank God. All right, dude. This has been another great episode. Thanks for coming on
Yeah.
again. I won't see you
Absolutely.
this weekend. I'll be out in North Carolina as long as the storm holds off.
No anniversary party.
I know it sucks. I was like, Jenny, like, come on now. Like, why would you have your anniversary when I'm leaving? She's like,
Yeah.
how the hell would I know that?